This is the ECG Golf Club. And welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
Now watch this drive.
Best intro in podcasts right there. Hey there, sports fans. It's Zuuc and the Ashamn, and you're watching and listening to the Hackers Podcast. This is episode 22. Great to come at you. It's a little bit later than normal, Zuuc. Welcome aboard, Zuuc. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well, mate. Yeah, no, busy day for me, work-wise.
Yeah.
So just had to push things back. So apologies for those who were in the
You
queue.
pushed aside the
waiting.
Calculators. You pushed the Casio calculators aside, and he still made time for the Hackers fans out there. Awesome stuff, brother. What have you been doing anyway?
Probably the highlight of the week was going to see some graps. Me and Rand got out and watched some wrestling on Sunday.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was a bit of a highlight. We it was all a bit of a spur of the moment. Just he forwarded me the details at 11 a.m. and by 12 we'd bought tickets off the marketplace. It was a sold out event.
Right.
Panthers got to see the indie god Matt Cardona, but didn't get to see him wrestle.
Cool.
He was out with a back injury, but former WWE stars Elias and Dirk Ziggler were there. It was a great card, great fun.
Was it?
We really got into it. It was. I'd highly recommend it. When they tour World Series Wrestling, they generally tour every couple of months. I would highly recommend you take the young boys out there and witness it firsthand, graps firsthand. Cool. It's something special.
Yeah. For any of you tuning in for the first time to the Hackers Podcast, Zuuc and I are big golf fans. We're hackers. We love golf. We're a bit of a hacker, but we also tend to talk a lot about pro wrestling. In years gone by, I was born and bred on pro wrestling, so there is a few comments in there over the series. But first of all, we usually talk a bit of golf news. So let's head to the newsroom, and then we'll get this show rolling.
Let's get this show rolling like a perfect putt and head over to Zuuc in the ECG newsroom. Over to you.
Thank you, Belvedere. Over to you, Zuuc.
Cheers, Belvedere. Cheers, Ash. Do I just start with the chant? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
It was a great week for Australia, really.
Wasn't it?
In terms of golf, particularly at the PGA. It was the Rocket Mortgage Classic this week. And it was Cam Davis who was victorious after posting a final round 2 under. However, it could be argued that Akshay Bhatia lost the tournament more so than Cam Davis won. Cam Davis was the clubhouse leader, sitting at 18 under when Bhatia arrived at the final hole, also at 18 under. He got to the green in regulation and had a 28-foot putt for birdie to claim the title. But he left it short and gave himself a bit of a tricky 4-foot putt to force a playoff. But reminiscent of Rory at the PGA, Bhatia pushed the short putt right and handed the title to Davis. In media comments after the tournament, Bhatia told reporters, "It sucks. There's no other way to put it. Yeah, just a bit of nerves, honestly. I'm human." So a pretty, human response from Bhatia. And Davis, while speaking to Amanda Balionis of CBS immediately after, was very emotional, almost in tears to be precise, and went through and described some of the mental anguish that he had been through and the frustration with losing over the past couple of seasons. This was actually Davis's second Rocket Mortgage Classic, having previously won the event back in 2021. So I know you were watching, given your messages in the group chat. I guess just your thoughts on Davis's win and the PGA.
Oh, so stoked to see both Min Woo Lee, Cam Davis fighting it out. Cam Davis has got such a beautiful swing. He's a stunning golfer. Nice tall. He must be at 6'3", 6'4". He must be.
Pretty tall dude, yeah.
Yeah, he must be up near you. But lovely swing, great temperament. And he seems to have quite a bit of respect from the commentating team over there. So it was really nice to watch. I thought the Detroit golf course was stunning. I really liked it. I thought it looked fantastic. Pretty deep rough off to the side. I would love to play there. It might be a little bit short, maybe for some of these guys. I thought it wasn't quite as long as especially coming off, Pinehurst. But looked beautiful on TV. I can imagine you'd only be able to play there 6 months of the year, though.
Yeah, winter. There certainly is a golfing season in parts of North America for sure.
I also thought, this last month has been a little bit more choking than Debbie Dove's Dallas. There's been a lot of choking on the greens in the last month or so.
Keep it PG. But yeah, no, it was. But to his credit, and this is where I'm a Batia fan, as someone who's also likes or a proponent of the long putter. Certainly, I have a soft spot.
I was thinking of you,
for the youngster. But to be fair, after such a heart-wrenching loss, he fronted up to the media. He didn't run away, and was rather forthcoming and rather honest with his answers. It wasn't Mickey Mouse responses. He was open and admitted his faults and his weaknesses, and I certainly developed a lot more respect for him as a result of that. I thought that
me too, mate. Yeah, because he's had some good results. He's won already once this year, hasn't he? But
he has won once, and he's plenty of top 10s and top 25s. Yeah. He's been a really good performer, and I certainly think he'll have a chance at the FedEx come the end. He certainly would have qualified, and I think he'll give it a red hot go amongst obviously some of the bigger names. Obviously, the likes of Scotty and the like will probably be the shorter odd favourites, but he's played consistently. But I think he's certainly a good chance to pull that off.
Just while you're at the news desk there, what did you think of Rye's double glove action?
As someone
double glove.
As someone who's starting to develop calluses on the right hand, I'm starting to think about whether I should go for the double glove, to give it a try and see whether that prevents that. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I've seen a couple of people
ruling it out.
I'm sure I saw Phil Mickelson do it earlier in the year too. I'm sure he did. And I've seen 3 or 4. Imagine playing over in the British Open too when it's cold, windy, moist. Some of these gloves out. I've seen a Callaway one. It's a thicker glove, and they're meant to be thermal. It might actually be a really good thing. Might be a good trend.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but the colder winter weather, I just seem to be developing more calluses on my hands from golf. Maybe I'm just holding the club too hard. Maybe that's what my issue is.
That's right. You're gripping it too tight.
Probably. A couple stories just around qualification, and we'll kick off with the Olympic qualification. I don't know whether you've been following this in the media. And whilst the Olympic qualification process has been relatively straightforward for Australia, it certainly couldn't be said of that for the Dutch Olympic team. Under the current arrangements, the IOC allows a maximum of 4 players from each gender of any one country to participate. However, those outside the top 15 in the Olympic rankings, not the World Golf Rankings, I'll try and explain that later on.
Rightio. Okay.
That number is reduced to 2. So essentially, the Dutch Olympic Committee added some additional requirements in that they really weren't going to allow anyone, be it a female that was outside the top 25, the top 24 of Olympic rankings, and the top 27 of the Olympic rankings to be able to be selected for the Paris Olympics. Effectively, my reading of what the Olympic rankings are is where there's double ups from people from multiple countries, they just effectively get eliminated from the rankings.
Right.
So,
okay.
America obviously has many people within the top, 50. As soon as they get to their maximum allotment of 4, those other players get stripped out, and so everyone gets bumped up.
Yep.
So
elimination chamber.
Yeah, correct. So what happened during the week was the Dutch male golfer Oost Luiten had an Olympic ranking of 40, but an official world golf ranking of 147. And because he was 40, it was outside of the 27. So the Dutch Olympic Committee said, no, we're not punching your ticket for Paris.
Right.
He took them to court and actually won.
Good on him. Oh, Ludi won.
He won. So he announced on Twitter on Tuesday, Instagram on Tuesday, saying he'd won his case. And that the Dutch committee
really rubbing it in.
Rubbing it in. It's unclear whether his victory will allow for other Dutch golfers who are technically qualified but did not meet the additional hurdles put forward by the Dutch Olympic Committee. I guess your thoughts, Ash, fair or foul, the position taken by the Dutch Olympic Committee with the additional loopholes and hurdles for the Dutch golfers to make their way through to get to the Olympics?
No, I guess organisations have got to protect themselves and make sure they can get the right person in the team as well. So I think it's fair when you think about organisations, you know what I'm saying, protect their own interest, make sure they get the right person in. Because there's another country, I might be wrong, I thought it was Denmark, that one of the people playing on the Olympic team is a convicted pedophile who's done time and come out of prison and is now qualified for the Olympics. So I guess organisations need to be able to protect themselves somehow with a loophole, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. I thought it was pretty harsh. These are, Luton's a decent player. He's won on the DP Tour. He's not.
But I guess golf's lucky in a lot of respects. They have that ranking system where it's like boomers basketball or, a team sport. You get selected. So it's kind of not quite the same for a basketball team, hey, than it would be for a golfer.
Then that brings into biases as to who actually picks the squad, whereas this is pretty impartial. You meet the criteria and then you believe you should be selected. But anyway.
I guess there's loopholes there too. So like Bryson DeChambeau probably should have been playing for the Americans. There's loopholes because the One World Golf Ranking, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call that a loophole, but that's just one of the unfortunate circumstances around
being part of this group.
Part of being on the Live Tour, and he knew that going in. Whereas
because this is pretty much like an NWO shirt now in the golf world.
In the golf world, if we use that wrestling parlance, but yeah, Luton did all the right things and was still denied. So I'm kind of in the Luton camp. I'm happy he got there.
Fair enough. That's good.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes. Technically, he's the 40th best golfer at the Olympics. So it's a small field. Who knows what can happen? But anyway, moving on to other qualification matters.
I've got a question come on through YouTube just quickly.
Go for it.
For you, Zuuc. What is simply asking, why does it have to be one glove anyway? Yeah, why do we just wear one golf glove and not two? It's a good question. I know your left hand's more dominant on the grip, but as I see more baseball grips coming in, I notice I'm using a bit more right hand. So maybe it's fair to use two gloves instead of one. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I'm at present, it's been on front of my mind to give it a go. So I'm looking to give it a crack and happy to report back in a couple of weeks, Ash, for sure.
Do baseballers use two gloves?
Yeah.
They do, eh? Yeah. Okay. Give it a shot. Let me know how you feel.
Will do.
How's it feel? Yeah.
Speaking of giving it a shot, one of the interesting things with any open tournament is the qualification process. And during the past couple of weeks, there has been the final rounds of the Open qualification for the Open Championship.
Yep.
That's a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been watching this, but it's been quite intriguing. A lot of the, prominent British YouTube golfers have been trying their luck. Rick Shields had a go, but failed in the first round. He posted an 81 and didn't get to progress from there. Peter Finch basically called his qualifying round a complete disaster. Matt Fryer, again, failed to progress, but managed to sink a hole in one during his round. So I guess he was able to, salvage that. But on the serious side, I guess this has been the avenue where live golfers have had to pursue things, and it was a bit of a mixed bag. On the bad side, Sergio Garcia failed to qualify, and you may have seen in some of social media him getting into a bit of an argument with a couple of officials who were pestering him around his slow rate of play.
Right.
So that was interesting.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
And then probably the biggest name who made his way through was Justin Rose, who managed to qualify through this open qualifying process. So, I guess, Ash,
I've lost audio. Just carry on.
From your perspective, with all these YouTube golfers trying to qualify, would you be interested in watching a live stream of a Rick Shields or a Peter Finch trundling around and trying to make their way into the Open Championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I like this. This is. Can you hear me okay? I had to swap.
Can you hear you fine?
Okay, yeah. I think that's fantastic. I actually like these little novelty things rocking up in events and tournaments, as long as it doesn't become a bit of a too much of a regular thing. But no, I think it's great. I'd love to imagine seeing Rick Shields in there. I'd be stoked because, I mean, the way golf is now in sports, YouTube is really pushing the sport ahead, and it's these sort of personalities that are just as important as a Bryson DeChambeau. Well, that's not a bad example because he's one of them. But just as important as someone just missing the cut, and has been on the tour for 10 years. I think these Instagram and social media guys are really important for the game. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm with it too. I'd argue that someone like a Rick Shields is probably more important than some of the PGA players. His profile and his reach,
100%,
and the way that he moves the needle when it comes to golf trends and the like. But speaking of what moved the needle, I'm certainly not a political guy, but when two candidates for the most powerful office in the world start bickering about golf handicaps,
oh my God,
school kids, my ears prick up.
Yes.
For about 30 seconds of the national televised debate this week, the two started to go at one another about their golf game.
Loved it. Loved every second of that.
After a humble brag about winning his golf club championship, Trump went on to belittle Biden, saying he couldn't hit a ball 50 yards. Biden then responded, challenging Trump to a driving contest.
Oh, please.
Stating as VP, he got his handicap down to 6. Biden also challenged Trump to a game of golf as long as he would carry his own bag. Trump then just basically called Biden a liar, saying that there was no way he was a 6 handicap.
No way. No way.
Just putting up on screen some presidential handicaps of
this is awesome.
Presidents gone past. I guess, Ash, do you really care? And would you actually watch a match play between the two of them if it did eventuate as Bryson was hoping to coordinate on his YouTube channel?
I'd pay for it. Pay-per-view, I'm there. I think this is fantastic. This is awesome. In the modern day statistical overdrive that we have, I think this blew my mind. Donald Trump reckons he's a 2.5 handicap. I mean, I've seen his swing. I know he won the club championship, but I can't see him being off 2.5. And Joe Biden off 6.7.
I've seen images from the American Online Handicap Register where he's posted scores, and they're all in the 70s and 80s and looks legit. A lot of the scores that were posted were old, around 2016, 17, that kind of era. Right. I don't think any of them have posted a score to affect the handicap in quite a while. But I would certainly Trump. I could see probably being a 6 to 10 based on his swing. Biden just in his physical condition and some of the clips I've seen around his swing. Oh, look, he'd be lucky to be in the 20s.
Yeah.
He's really struggling to get around these days.
Yeah, just got a comment on live stream on YouTube now. How is Trump off too? Question mark, question mark, question mark. God, I totally got to agree. I don't see it. He's got an awful swing, and it's like Rafael Nadal. His swing is just disgraceful, but he's a scratch golfer or near scratch. I guess it's just how you hit that ball. How that drive.
It's where the club face is when it makes impact. That's all that matters, and how it gets there. It might be ugly, but as long as it's in appropriate
hits the middle, goes down. Yeah, that's right. But to answer your question, yes, I would watch that with bells on. I think it'd be fantastic. Imagine how many people would watch that. And then Bryson commentating or something. That'd be hilarious.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the news for the week, Ash.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and the Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thank you, Belvedere. Belvedere is our voiceover artist, the greatest voice in Australian podcasts. I'm Ashman, and this is Zuuc. This is the Hackers Podcast. If you're watching us live on YouTube or watching us later on YouTube, we're coming from Australia, eastern seaboard of Australia. I'm from a place called the Gold Coast. Golfing Mecca. You're going to have to come up here soon.
I got to come up.
That many golf courses.
Got to drive up, bring the clubs, and spend a few days, and
we could play Palm Meadows. We could play Royal Pines. We could play Greg Norman's Glades here. Jack Nicklaus's Lakeside. Oh, they're all within swinging distance. So it'd be fantastic. Thanks for watching us as well. Please subscribe to us, and if you're watching on YouTube, please comment down below. We do a few segments each week. Who's in your four ball? It's coming up later on. Ripped or Yipped, which is our version of, yay or nay. And one we like to talk about obsessions. So, Belvedere, do you play that little
golfing obsessions? Golfing obsessions.
Thanks, Belvedere. Did you notice what? Do you not want us to put your face on there? You want us to pixelate it? Okay, fair enough. He's a handsome bloke, but all right, it's about obsessions. Zuuc, what do we got this week, brother?
This is a relatively recent obsession, and this is something that I did not know exist, and since discovering it this week, has just been in my golf thoughts. Not that I think about golf all the time, but it's certainly been in my golf thoughts quite a bit this week. If I was to say that you needed a license to play golf, would you believe me?
No. What? Maybe in North Korea or China.
Well, I discovered this week via the Rick Shields podcast, shout out to Rick Shields again, that in Germany, you required to have a golfing license before you can actually play golf. So up on screen is a copy of what they call I'm not even going to try and attempt to pronounce it. Maybe
the old Bestätigung.
Platzziffre.
There must be the Department of Golf something or other. Platzrief.
Yeah. So before you can walk on to any course, you need to have this license.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. The license itself, obviously, there's a full examination. This isn't just this isn't just back in the old days like at Northmead go-karts where you pay your $5
get your
laminated license.
Yes,
it's a little more complex than that. So there's two elements. There's a practical test, which you need to shoot a round of 108 or fewer, so effectively 36 over par. Right. And that needs to be certified by a golf pro. So a golf pro is with you during the round, is what I'm led to believe in my research. So again,
what a boring job that'd be.
In addition to that, there's a written examination with 30 questions. You need to
Oh
have a
my
minimum
God.
of 24 out of 30.
Oh no!
The test is in German, so this may throw foreigners who are trying to play golf in Germany.
Do you have to pay for this as well? Have we got a fee?
And the question, I'm sure there is a fee. And in relation to the questions, it's obviously not just rules of golf, but also around golfing etiquette.
Okay.
So I guess, Ash, I'm just throwing it out there.
Blown away.
Your thoughts? Obviously, we have the motto "Everyone can golf"
Yes.
as the ECG.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on Germany's approach?
You've blown my mind.
With the license concept.
Boom. Mind blown. You have to have a license to play golf in Germany. What are you thinking? How is that going to grow the game? How are you going to have the best golfers in the world? How is that going to blossom the game at all? How is tourism going to be involved? How are you going to build golf courses? No growth whatsoever. That's a disgrace. I can't believe that. And how, as a kid, how are you going to get someone into the game of golf if you have to have a license to play golf? Golf is for everybody. That's a disgrace. You should be ashamed of yourself. Are they competing in the Olympics? I bet you they're not. So if I wanted to go to Germany to play golf, I've got to sit for an exam, prove that I can play, shoot 108, and then pass the test. Are they trying to weed out and make this an elite sport? Is that what this is?
I don't know. I think there's elements there around ensuring that the golf experience once on course, A, is enjoyable, B is safe. I think there's a safety element probably in there as well, particularly when it comes to etiquette. I can certainly understand that, given personal experiences and like that,
yes,
you certainly do have to have your wits about you on a golf course. But
I just did a quick search. I was thinking, Chris, how many golf courses are in Germany? I thought maybe there wasn't many, but there's 750 golf courses in Germany.
Yeah,
it's quite a lot.
There's been a long tradition of decent German golfers. Obviously, Bernhard Langer comes to mind.
One of my favourite, yeah.
But is it Clymer or who's currently floating around at the moment? So they've produced world-class golfers despite this impediment. But I fear that it does take away the potential social or hackers' ability to get on the course and, like you said, grow the participation within the sport. One of the stigmas that golf has had to endure of late really is that elitist mentality. And I think this is probably something that really doesn't help on that front. Certainly there's a lot of sports where you do need a license for OH&S reasons. Certainly, motorsport comes to mind in terms of needing to do the right things with respect to qualifications.
But we're talking about a very dangerous sport, though.
We are, but also there's, particularly when it comes to, archery and the shooting sports, there are also, licensing and other kind of things that you need to go through before you can walk on the course. Yes, the projectile of a golf ball isn't quite the same as a round out of an air rifle, but it still can be pretty damaging.
Yes,
so as you
know well.
Yep, there may well be some reasoning for it there, but I still think the 108 is pretty rough. You would need to put in some time on the range before you would get your game down to 108, and then again, you can blow around. Pretty quickly within a hole or two.
Imagine the pressure of that day. Hey babe, I'm going out to do my golf test. You don't want the yips when you're shooting a sub 108. You want to be on your game. There'd be a lot of pressure.
Crazy. So, and like I said, it was just something that I discovered this week. It's been a focus of my my golf thoughts this week, and just thought it would be something that'd be interesting to talk through. So, Germany and golf licenses. There you go.
Is there? Do the DP World Tour play in Germany? I wonder. I don't think they do. What's the top? I'm just going to do a quick search. Top German golf courses.
I'd like to think they would have a presence in Germany.
Top 10 golf courses in Germany. Yeah, I think
they're European.
We've got coming at number 1. Just got to click that allow all cookies. The Wittelsbacher Golf Club in Rohrenfeld Neuburg is rated number 1 German golf course. The Wittelsbacher. Then we've got the St. Leon Rott Golf Club. That looks nice. If you get a chance to Google it,
be nice. You're looking in potentially, forest.
Yeah,
ponds.
Hamburger Golf Club looks beautiful. Founded in 1906, looks fantastic with the cut into the trees in the forest. Beautiful stuff. Well, it'd be nice. I wonder if we can do. Can you do it online? Because I wouldn't mind having a crack at this.
I tried searching for a sample 30 questions, but didn't have any luck. Even if I'd get it in German, I'd Google translate it, but no luck there. But you'd have to fly over there to pass your
of course
108.
Yeah.
So
maybe we could go down the TrackMan and pretend we'll play Hamburger Golf Course on the TrackMan and see if we can shoot a 108, sub 108, and then we've got our license.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and the Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thanks again. I'm looking forward to chatting a few more obsessions with you in the coming weeks leading into the British Open too, Zuuc. And I know a couple of things that you really like is like your scorecard. You're a big fan of your scorecard in your back pocket. Yeah.
Yep.
You're pretty old school though, aren't you? You like things that are traditional.
Analog. Yeah,
analog. Yeah.
So, but I thought maybe next week we could talk about those kind of golf accessories. I know,
love it.
We're all kind of our bags are full of them. Scorecard's just one of many. So I thought we could do a bit of.
Actually, do you keep your scorecards as well? You keep them?
Yeah, I've got a tin where I keep them.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I've got my scorecards all the way back. I wish I had kept them in the 90s. But they start from about 2006. I've kept every scorecard in a massive pile out there. It's awesome to go back and have a look through.
It is.
My scores haven't changed much in 20 years, which is pretty good in some ways and pretty bad in others. A couple of things we'll do, ripped or yipped, and who's in your 4-ball. I thought we'd start ripped or yipped, Belvedere.
Sure.
Hey fellas, Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with ripped or yipped. Let's see what side of the argument the boys are on. Ripped or yipped. Back to you, Ash.
I hope you got some juicy ones this week, brother.
I hope I do.
Actually.
There's one here that I think will appeal to you more than others. But we'll see see whether I've curated something that meets your high standards, Ash. But anyway,
cool.
Kicking off, obviously we all know that putting is half the game, if not more. And was interesting in terms of an article that I read around a suggested approach to improve your putting. And that was just to close your eyes and putt with your eyes closed. This was a suggested approach put forward by LPGA pro Emma Talley. We all know that Jordan Spieth prefers to look at the hole rather than the ball as he strikes his putter. Mm-hmm. And Bryson has, made comments around that he doesn't really see the ball when he putts. He's more focusing on the feel within his body. Not quite the same as closing your eyes, but closing your eyes while putting. Ash, ripped or yipped?
Yipped. This sounds like one of these Instagram people that have come up with some idea. No. Us as humans, we're hunters. We've got two eyes at the front of our head. We look at our target. It's like when you play basketball. I've seen some great things lately when I was coaching the junior team here on as a human, if you put your eyes on a target for 2 seconds, it really locks your brain into that depth perception. So I think that's a load of rubbish. Yeah, keep your eyes open. I'd rather more say maybe do the Jordan Spieth and look at the hole, but don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Yipped.
Yeah,
I'm no expert though.
No. I'm Yipped too. Probably one of the things for me that I've got to avoid the distraction of letting my eyes wander with the putter on the back lift and just focus on the ball. So that's certainly one thing I focus on. It's one of those things: focus eyes on the ball, rather than eyes wandering with the putter on back lift. But I'm closing the eyes. I think that's completely Yipped. But I might give you Jordan.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like how Cam Smith doesn't practice swing as well. That's something I've kind of took on a little bit lately as well, where, your first putt tends to be sometimes your best, when you're on the putting green. So I've kind of tried to do a little bit of that. What do you watch when you putt? Do you watch the back end of the ball, or are you watching, do you have a point on the ball you like to put the logo a specific spot, or what do you look at?
I'm one of those people that doesn't really use the alignment tools all that much.
Right.
Probably costing me. I'm just more a back of the ball and focusing on contact.
Feel.
Yeah.
I've been using those 2 coloured balls. Yeah. And I put the logo at the back, so because I got double vision, and these glasses I bought, I played around with these last week, and for the first time in years, I could see the ball better off the tee and putting. So I've just noticed I want to focus on that logo at the back of the ball. I've just done lately. But anyway, I digress. Sorry, mate.
Cool. Another thing that caught my eye during the week, naturally it's involved 2 things that I like, basketball and golf. Steph Curry.
What do we have here?
Steph Curry, probably one of the most famous basketballers floating around. As you know, an avid golfer, pretty much a scratch golfer, has participated in many pro-ams. He's got a few charities that are trying to grow the inclusion of the game. And one way in which he's looking to grow that is through some signature grips. So he's partnered with Golf Pride to produce some signature grips as a way to raise some money. Just your thoughts on that, Ash? Ripped or Yipped?
Ripped. I like that. I'd have those. Signature grips. This is a new thing. I like it. It'd be almost like the old Lance Armstrong yellow silicon bands. We could see a real trend happen here. This is good. You have coloured bands for different awareness campaigns. I think this is a new thing. Ripped.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't really been explored more. It's one of those things that you can easily accessorize. Obviously, the shaft and the club face, they're kind of locked and loaded, but a grip's a 5-minute change it up by someone who knows what they're doing, and a way to support a good cause, and a way to, as you said there, if it is prominent and well displayed, it's certainly a way to communicate and put that cause front and center on the golf course. So I thought this was an excellent idea.
Yeah, love it. Can you buy these online? Or?
Yeah, you can. They're through the Golf Pride website. I think it's $250 for a set for your irons, which, on the high side, but in terms of, there's a charitable component in there as well in terms of a donation. So I didn't think it was all that bad, and I hope it works out for Steph.
Geez, I think this is a great marketing tool. I think we might see something of this. I'm thinking myself. There's some good things there. Very good. All right, that was good. Next one.
So again, we're all fans of Charlie Hull here at the ECG. One thing that kind of came out.
I think she's applied to become our official female golfing representative.
Okay, our ambassador on the
Belvedere's dealing with that now.
Okay, he's looking to get some
negotiating.
Okay, but one of the things that came out and was commented on in the socials was her club twirl. This was a bit of a gravity-defying tweet where she passed it essentially from her right hand to her left hand. It was just a smooth bit of work and looked amazing. I guess, Ash, where do you stand on the club twirl after a great shot? Is that a rip or yip?
It's ripped. Yeah, it's ripped. It's a natural thing, hey. I noticed I did it the other day and went, I just did it. When you hit a nice shot, if you've got a nice follow through and just spin it out, ripped. Love it. It just naturally happens. If you're forcing it, it's a bit of a wank, but I think it's ripped. Have we got up while we hear your answer? I'm going to see if I can find it online. Is it Charlie Hull?
Yeah, no.
What do you think, mate?
I'm ripped. But one I prefer more than the twirl is the holster after a chip.
Yeah, right.
That's my favourite. How can I say? Bold move after a great shot. I just think that's cool with the chip follow through and then just forcing down on the club head, putting it in the holster. So I just think that's
I found it
as cool as the twirl is. I give the I give the slight edge to the holster after a chip in.
Okay, I have found it. Let's have a look. That is this one. Here we go. Bring it up, Ashman. Here we go. Here's the club 12. Bang. Is this the one you're talking about? Flings it across. Love it. Yeah. Swashbuckling. Yeah, big fan. Love it. Love it. All right, next, brother.
Now, I know you love your golf architecture. So when I saw this, I thought of you. So
okay, nice. You thought of
this is a new golf design. It's called the runway style.
I've seen this.
So this is a course in, I believe, Korea somewhere.
It is.
Where effectively there's 4 runways with holes running north and south and south and north. So you're going up and back. There are no trees. It's filled with pot bunkers and obviously rough as being the hazards to avoid. As someone who considers themselves a bit of a golf architecture aficionado, where do you stand on this? Ash, ripped or yipped?
Look, there's two sides to the story here. When I look at this from an aesthetics perspective, it's yipped. That's awful. But if that's the only land these people have and they can actually play the game of golf, it's good for them. But from an architecture and design element, I'd say yipped myself. I'll go yipped, but you got to do what you got to do. What do you think?
Oh, look, I think it's ripped. I think it's one of those things in terms of an efficient use of space, maybe more so.
Can you bring the picture up again if you're watching, so I can have a look?
I don't think there's really any wasted space here. Everything has been utilised. So from that perspective, if that allows for golf courses to be put on smaller plots, but when are you actually going to get a nice rectangular area upon which to build a course? But it's not short. It's 18 holes, 7,405 yards. So it's a decent sized course. I just hope there is some natural, whether that be some mounds or something. I think there's potential with
surely
for injury with fairways running parallel in opposite directions.
Bloody hell.
Making sure that there is a way for safety in terms of errant drives or errant.
Do you think
shots.
that's a fence? That must be. It looks like a fence line going in between the four. Like, why would you have it there?
Yeah, it could well be.
Must be a fence.
Could well be.
No, I mean, like, as much as it's yipped, I think it's great use of land. It'd be pretty flat. I mean, you could line the sides with trees still. I mean, there's a lot you could do with that, isn't there? There's a heap you could do with it. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to see how that plans. That's good.
And finally, seeing we are recording on the 4th of July, being American Independence Day, trying to make this somewhat golf-related. As you can see here, I've grabbed a a tweet from Paige. She's looking to also participate in a hot dog eating competition to celebrate the 4th of July. But if we can bring it back to competitive eating in and of itself, your thoughts on the traditional Nathan's hot dog 4th of July hot dog eating competition, Ash? Is that something that's ripped or yipped? Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, ripped. It's a global brand. Yeah, ripped. I mean, I couldn't do it. I think it's just, they dip it in water and everything, don't they? Imagine eating a hot dog bun in water. It'd be disgusting, but yeah, go for it.
Not about the taste. It's all about lubrication to help get it down faster.
Lubing that throat, get it to the gullet, as quick as you can. Ripped.
But it's unfortunately it's going to be yipped this year. There's been a bit of controversy. The reigning champion Joey Chestnut won't be able to participate due to some conflict with sponsors and the like.
Really?
So there's been a bit of a furor around something as simple as a hot dog eating competition. Who would have thought? But,
have you ever done a food comp? Or have you ever done a challenge or anything?
No, I haven't. I've been in the presence of people who have. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the old Austrian Schnitzel House down on Victoria Road. That they had an eating challenge where I think it was like a kilo of schnitzel, a litre stein of beer, and a bunch of a kilo of fries or something,
sauerkraut
like that.
Or something.
Yeah, I was there with some mates who tried to work their way through that. The aim was to do that in an hour, and both failed. But that didn't look like fun, particularly when it got to the end. But no, I haven't participated. I think I could smash a pizza one. There's something about me when it comes to pizza. It just
Italian
keeps going
heritage,
down
I think.
and down. Yeah, it could well be. Could well be. But no, I haven't as yet. Yourself? Have you given any of those?
I have. I mean, I got to say, I've lost quite a bit of weight. Am I looking okay, brother? I've lost.
Looking trim. That face.
15 kilos. It's coming down. So I don't delve into the food for the last 6 months or so, but I love hot food, like super spicy food. I grow Carolina Reaper chilies here. And you may not know this, but my dream is to own a chili plantation and just grow Australia's hottest chilies. So if I win the lottery or get selected to play in the Live Golf, I'll be buying a lot of land and I'll be growing Carolina Reapers. But I did this crazy hot burrito at a franchise here in Australia. I went out for lunch and saw this sign saying, "Can you eat the death burrito?" or whatever. And I thought, "Oh yeah, this is a piece of cake." And had a crack, and it blew me away. And I was crying and red and everything, and I had to go back to work afterwards. So I have had a crack at that. But I sort of steer clear of the food these days.
Fair enough.
Got to get the gullet down.
And that's it, Ash. That's Ripped or Yip for this week.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zuuc and the Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thank you. All right, it's my favourite time of the week. It's time for Who's in Your Four Ball, and it's going to be 4th of July themed or American pop culture themed.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, Belvedere, you cut Zuuc off. Play this thing, and then we'll get back to him.
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your Four Ball. Back to you, Ashman.
Thank you. More respect needed. All right, Zuuc, give us a rundown on the theme, and you go first as always, brother. You've got the honour.
Yeah, no, I think there was a bit of back and forth between us as to what we were going to settle on, but I think it was, again, given the 4th of July is when we were recording, we would go down the path of an American theme and then really settled on pop culture and, I guess, pop culture icons that originated from America. And so that's kind of the approach I took and tried to have a golf theme in there as well. So when you think of sport, and you think of someone who's had an absolute immeasurable impact on sporting goods, particularly footwear, particularly on sporting culture, on swag, even on golf. There really isn't anyone bigger than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So naturally, he was who first came to mind. Someone who really probably was for a period and may even still be the world's most known athlete. I'm sure Messi or Ronaldo probably may well take the crown now, but there was certainly probably a 20-year period where Michael Jordan was the most well-known athlete in the world, still sells billions and billions of shoes each year. It certainly has diversified into golf as well. Jordan brand golf clothing and shoes are some of the items that are most seen on the golf course. So,
especially on live. Hey.
Absolutely. He's my team captain. Certainly someone who knows how to hold a club, and I think his handicap is in the low singles. I think even two or below.
Yeah, I think so.
My next team member.
I liked that, Jordan. Good point. Good pick, by the way, mate. And you mentioned a few things that he has permeated into pop culture, shoes, sports. The most recognisable figure on the planet, next to Michael Jackson at one time, I think it was. Cigars as well. He was wearing. He's in the Cigar Aficionado cover a few times as well.
Yeah, he and probably Arnold Schwarzenegger are probably two of the most, I guess, people who you could probably give credit for that cigar resurgence in the 90s, I would say.
Great point.
Second team member probably was one of the most famous athletes in North America, a college star, a professional star in the NFL, had a great collegiate career at USC, transitioned into the media, became a film star, and then perhaps had one of the most infamous turns ever seen. I don't know about you, but that white Bronco chase was one of the most, I guess, significant moments and pop culture moments growing up, as well as the, year-long court case around the murder of Nicole Smith. So if you haven't guessed already, my second team member is O.J. Simpson, someone who's left a presence, rightly or wrongly, within the cultural landscape of not only America but the world.
Okay, iconic, yes.
And then finally, gone down the female path. I don't know that she's necessarily any good with a club, although I did manage to find a picture of her with Tiger Woods on the late night show in her peak.
Look how young Tiger is there.
But dealing with Jennifer Aniston, she was absolutely, one of the most famous people in the world. Cultural impact with the Aniston haircut, I suppose, forever on the pages of, magazines surrounding her relationship with
Brad Pitt, was it?
Yeah, Brad Pitt, and obviously the fallout when Angela came on the scene. Right. That was a complete cultural touchstone and something that the world was following. And obviously, what launched her was her role as Rachel on Friends, arguably the most popular TV show in the world there for a while. So, again, no doubting her cultural significance and impact. So Jennifer Aniston gets a spot on my team.
So your 4-ball, Michael Jordan, O.J. Simpson, Jennifer Aniston. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. That'd be be a nice, entertaining four ball to be part of. All right, I love doing this one again. All right, I delved into the depths of my mind, and I came up with this. My team captain is. I'm going to play this, and it'll tell you who it is. I'm just going to add this on here. Here we go. Team captain. There we go. I'm going to go Roger Ramjet as my, a big jaw on him. I used to get home from school in the 80s, and you'd turn on ABC in Australia, and Roger Ramjet would be on. As my naivety was at the time, I just thought he was total Americana. So he was from the 1950s, I think, 50s and early 60s.
Roger Imagine Ramjet. How far you would hit a drive with those proton pills.
Absolutely. Whack the proton pill in and be bombing them like Bryson, in fact. All right. Secondly, I'm going to go with a fella I saw wrestle, and this is where the pro wrestling always comes in my conversation. I saw this guy wrestle in Sydney, Australia, in 1986 when the WWF did a tour of Australia. I remember buying his Bendham figure. It was a little 3.75 inch rubber figures that had little arms that you could bend, the Bendhams. Cool. I'm also going to be playing with Corporal Kirshner. Corporal Kirshner was a WWE or a WWF wrestler. He was born in 1957. He died only about 3 years ago in 2021. He worked for the WWE. His in-ring name is Corporal Kirshner. And then he also went on to go over to Japan, in New Japan Wrestling. It was Leatherface. And literally, you know the Leatherface character from Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Yeah. But, mate, this guy was an ex-Marine. I think he was the Special Forces. But, yeah, he's going to be in my four-ball. Corporal Kirshner, for any old wrestling fans out there. I'm going to give my caddy... I'm going to give my bag to a fella who is an amazing director, one of the greats. He directed this film, Belvedere, if you can put up Born in the 4th of July.
Yep.
I was thinking about putting Tom Cruise in here because he was in it, but I thought, no, I'm going to go left field.
Okay.
So my caddy's going to be Oliver Stone, who has directed some amazing films. Born on the 4th of July is The Link, obviously. And then obviously Oliver Stone's going to be my caddy. He's an amazing director. He did JFK, and
that's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
I think he's Natural Born Killers. Any Given Sunday, that's right. That was a cracker. Wall Street, Platoon, because he actually went to Vietnam too. He did a tour of Vietnam. And then bringing up the rear, I'm going to have a female on my team as well. Sorry, Belvedere, if you can do that for me. My fourth ball, the iconic Americana, Marilyn Monroe. Iconic. Yeah, so I feel like I've got a really iconic American team. I've got, not many people know Corporal Kirshner, but I got Roger Ramjet, Corporal Kirshner, Marilyn Monroe, and Oliver Stone holding the bag in this week's Who's in Your Four Ball.
Love it, Ash. Love it.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. That's about time for us for the week. That hour went quick, man.
It did. It was enjoyable, though.
Yeah, it was, man. Hey, something I noticed when you were talking about O.J. Simpson, when I was watching the PGA, there is so much Nike sponsorship now. I think they'd be probably one of the biggest sponsors, if not the biggest sponsor, of apparel, hats, shoes. It all seems to be Nike at the moment. I don't even see any Callaway, really. Maybe on the bags, but yeah, it seems to be a lot of Nike.
They're on all the top names. They sponsor apparel for Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, and then you've got
even I think Patrick Reed was showing it the other day. Keep your eyes on them; they're bloody everywhere. That logo.
Yeah, and obviously on the female side, they've got Corda as well. So they've got the top two names. It's interesting to see where they position themselves in the golf market.
In the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, golf fans, for watching the ECG Hackers podcast. I'm the Ashman. That was Zuuc. This was episode 22. We're coming closer to the British Open, aren't we, Belvedere?
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Belvedere's giving me the count. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you the same time next week.
This is the ECG Golf Club. And welcome to this week's Hackers podcast.